Welcome to Design Domination, where you'll gain confidence, clarity, and a competitive edge in a crowded marketplace so you can dominate your competition. Hi, and thanks for tuning in. I'm Colleen Grotzer, and in this episode of Design Domination, I am talking about the color chaos that has been going on in the graphic design industry, specifically the Adobe Pantone breakup. Stay tuned to find out what you need to know, how this will affect you, and what you can do about it. I had heard about this earlier, but I wanted to wait and see how this would play out. And I also decided to do some more research on it as well. Now, for decades, since the 80s, graphic designers have relied on Pantone for consistent color output in printing, using their Spot or their CMYK swatch books, and then selecting the colors from within the Adobe programs. And being able to select Pantone colors in Adobe software has always been important, especially for print designers. So graphic designers everywhere are in an uproar over this divorce because we're the ones left footing the bill from two companies with a monopoly in the industry. As of August 2022, Pantone colors started being phased out from future updates to Adobe Creative Cloud software. And after November 2022, this month, the only Pantone color books that are going to be available within Adobe programs are Pantone Plus CMYK coded, Pantone Plus CMYK uncoded, and then Pantone Plus metallic coded. That's actually one of my favorite ones. But if you want to have access to all of the Pantone color books after that date, you're going to have to purchase a premium Pantone Connect license and install a plugin using Adobe Exchange. So Pantone now has jumped on the subscription bandwagon, like everyone else, much to our dismay. Creative Cloud already costs a lot as it is, and now this. So what is this Pantone Connect? Well, it's available as an Adobe Creative Cloud extension, website, or mobile app. And it gives graphic designers access to more than 15,000 Pantone colors. As of right now, the cost for an individual subscription is $14.99 USD per month or $89.99 USD per year, which is a 50% discount when you pay for the year upfront. The price of Pantone Connect actually went up 150% between August and November. There is a free trial available, but it's only a measly 7 days. And if you go to the Pantone Connect download page, it has been inundated with angry graphic designers, justifiably so, giving it a 1-star rating and sharing their thoughts on this whole situation. I must have had to hit the load more reviews at least 10 times to get to any that didn't have a 1-star review. Many of the designers say the extension doesn't even work. Some of them say it keeps crashing or it refuses to load and that the UX is horrible. And some have commented that it doesn't work on Macs with the M1, M2 processors. And then others say that the free plugin doesn't allow you to do what it says it should. Many designers question how Adobe can continue to charge what they do for their Creative Cloud subscription since they've removed an important feature from it. So why are Pantone colors being removed from Adobe software in the first place? Well, some graphic designers are saying this is all about greed, and Adobe refers to the Pantone licensing as simply adjusted, and that Pantone decided to change its business model. Well, Pantone told Creative Pro that they were unable to actively update the library to correct any changes to the color data or to update it with new colors. But what I can't understand is that being able to choose Pantone colors is like free advertising for them. Pantone makes money off designers specifying their colors for a print job. And already Pantone gets money from the sale of their color swatch books too. Which kind of makes me think, how is it any different than going into Home Depot or to Lowe's or some other paint store to pick up some of those printed paint swatches that you take home until you're ready to buy the paint? Now, Adobe's website says that all app versions before August 2022 will continue to have all previous Pantone color books preloaded and available. However, Illustrator, InDesign, and Photoshop will be affected differently. And specific to InDesign and Illustrator, Adobe says that those files that have Pantone color swatches in them will function the same as they have when they're opened or placed in InDesign. But about Photoshop files with any spot channels that have been placed within InDesign and Illustrator, those are going to show as gray or black in InDesign. Photoshop files that have spot channels for unavailable color books are going to display a color rendering error. And that's evident by what Jeff Potter of Creative Pro said in an article on this topic, where he said, users opening an existing duotone in the new release of Photoshop found themselves shocked by a dialog box that reads, "This file has Pantone colors that have been removed and replaced with black due to changes in Pantone's licensing with Adobe." Now, you can find out more about this in Adobe's FAQs, and there's really not that many of them, surprisingly. And I have the link to all of these that I've mentioned in the show notes. So what the heck are we left to do here? Well, if you find yourself needing to specify a spot color in an Adobe program, you don't have to shell out the cost of a Pantone Connect subscription. I've got lots of alternatives here for you. So the first thing is that you could potentially create a spot color in the program and make sure it's set to spot and just give it a name. And I did this many times in the past in InDesign when I didn't have the latest software with all the available Pantone colors to choose from. Now, it may not show as accurately on screen, but then again, there is a difference anyway in color between the Pantone swatch books and then how colors look on screens, right? Even between individual monitors. Another thing you can do, and Mike Rankin of Creative Pro did a great write-up on this hack for how to add swatches with the free version of Pantone Connect. So be sure to check that out. Again, the link is in the show notes. And then color consultant Paul Sheffield suggests backing up the Pantone color library files, which have the extension ACB, and then re-importing them into the programs after Adobe completely removes them. But at some point, Adobe might be able to detect that those are Pantone colors and then not allow you to use them. Andrew Bales-Collins, who used to work at Enfocus, suggests that you might be able to add new Pantone colors to an older PDF file using Enfocus Pitstop. A designer named Stuart Semple created a Pantone-ish color palette that he calls Freetone, and that includes almost 1,300 colors. Stuart has a video on his website about how to load the colors in Illustrator and Photoshop. And this looks like it's a really close alternative, maybe the most seamless alternative. You could also check out Swatchos. Swatchos is a box that contains 129 cards that are swatches. And each color has one color on the front. And then the flip side has 6 colors with a lighter and a darker color showing larger on the left and the right sides. And there are a total of 903 colors. And then each color also has a CMYK value, a hexadecimal code, and a Swatchos number, similar to Pantone numbers. And then they also have downloadable swatch files that you can use in Adobe Creative Cloud. And this one too sounds like it would be a really close, seamless alternative as well. Now there's also the spot matching system. Again, the link is in the show notes, and that contains 869 colors. So not as many, but it looks like it could be a good alternative as well. And then you might want to check out Project BBCG, a better brand color guide. It's a free framework that you can use to create unambiguous brand color guides without any licensing fees. And they have a tutorial about it on their website. So what do you think of all this? Does this news affect you a lot or not so much? Will you pay for a premium Pantone Connect license? Will you switch to another color book such as True Match? And will this give Affinity or Quark the lead in the industry? I mean, Affinity charges a one-time fee for their software, no subscriptions at all. And right now, they're offering all 3 of their apps for only $99.99. And again, that's a one-time fee. And for Quark Express, that was my go-to before InDesign. I mean, I hated PageMaker, so I wasn't looking forward to switching to it if it was going to be anything like PageMaker. If you remember back then, they said that InDesign would be the Quark killer, and it was. So I wonder if all this will be the nail in the coffin for Adobe. And I also wonder how printers are going to be affected by this. So let me know your thoughts, and be sure to check out the show notes for links to all of these tools and articles I mentioned. And of course, please like, share, and subscribe if this was helpful to you. Support the podcast by buying me a coffee. It might actually end up being a glass of wine or some tea, but you can go to buymeacoffee.com/creativeboost.